I mean, all I did was walk and stuff, and I looked like that.
We're not being recorded.
You're not seeing anything recorded, but the audio's on, so.
They can hear me.
Have a 95.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you. That's very.
Todd? Yes, he loves it. He's in the academy now. So he comes home, he's like exhausted every day, but they just did their final written test and their final DT test. They got
What force will be going forward?
Dave's County Sheriff.
Very up. That's the good news. We're probably getting reimbursed from the Air Force based on the turnouts. The air show? For the 5 crush. Oh. Oh, question. Yeah. I mean, we already had the thing done for the city. No, I'm just saying, just something to remind people.
Oh, yeah, we'll set something out.
There is a map. Well, I think they promised in a few days. So.
Yeah, we'll send it out on Facebook.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm
How about
ready.
your next meeting?
Oh, no.
I'm not addressing that in this.
No.
So sorry, I misunderstood.
Oh, yeah, it's called. It was decided about 6 weeks ago.
The map.
Yeah.
Well, it needs to be.
No, absolutely.
Maybe. Well, sure, if we do about it.
It was decided about 6 weeks ago. Yeah.
We could put in-
Okay, we'd like to welcome everyone to our South Weber City Council meeting at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, June the 25th, 2024. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance led by Councilman Dills and then a prayer by Councilman Davis.
Will the audience please stand? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Our Father in heaven, we're grateful to gather together as citizens in this fine city to discuss important topics, and we pray that thy spirit may be in abundance with us, that we may be guided and directed on the paths that we should go down that will be best for our city. We pray thy spirit may also be with us to ensure that we maintain ourselves in an appropriate manner, and that we'll be able to discuss openly and honestly with one another and be able to come to good conclusions that will help ensure our city's safety and continuance, way that we know that we want it to. These prayers and blessings we pray for in the name of thy son Jesus Christ.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, we'll begin with our public comments. We'll ask if you've got any comments, come up to the mic and state your name and the city you reside in. We'll allow you 3 minutes to speak, and please speak to the entire council. And we'll open up for public comments.
Michael Grant, 2622 Deer Run Drive. I know we have talked about 2 or 3 turns, last 2 or 3 turns regarding recycling, and the purpose is so that our landfill doesn't get filled up in 7 years. Hopefully we can push it to 12. And the cans are going to be introduced. I understand that. So what's going in the recycling can? I know that plastics, they don't like that. Cardboard, they charge you for that now. Only thing, my understanding is that can be properly recycled in an economically viable fashion are metals like aluminum can, copper, stuff like that. So on a monthly basis or even on a yearly basis, the bulk of the garbage that we are producing that is filling up the landfill is cardboard, pizza boxes, yard clippings, grass, branches, and none of that is going to go in the blue can. So it just seems like a moot point that we are doing that much for soda cans. And people who are motivated, I am, for the last 15 years, I've been taking it twice a year to can collection center. And people who are not motivated are tossing these metal cans, aluminum cans into regular garbage. So it's not going to affect those people and it's not going to affect me. Not to mention there's not a bunch of garbage that's going to go into the blue can that will help prevent filling up of the landfill anytime later. Can't delay it. That's all. Thanks.
Thank you. Any other comments? Okay. Then we'll move on to our next item, the consent agenda. We need the approval on our June 11th, 2024 work meeting minutes, our June 11th, 2024 council minutes. Is there any corrections to either of these meetings?
Mayor, I move
Minutes?
to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item, consideration of an addendum to resolution 24-15 adopting budget amendments for fiscal year 2023, 2024, and setting a public hearing. Comments on this consideration from the council?
Just 1 second.
Pull up the right packet, sorry.
I don't see that in the packet.
It's an addendum.
It's
It's an addendum.
Ah, no wonder.
It's just hard to flip back and forth.
Yeah.
Okay, no comments. We'll look for a motion on this.
Mayor, I move to approve the amendment to resolution 2415 as written.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a?
I'll second that.
We we have a second, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 Okay. Unanimous, motion carries. Our next item, resolution 24-16, proposed certified property tax rate. We need to make a decision tonight on what we intend to do. And then set a public hearing from that, I guess. So anybody want to open a discussion on what they would like to see proposed?
Mayor, I'll jump in on the discussion if I may.
Okay,
It seems to me, having 5 options makes this discussion tonight a little bit confusing. It would have been helpful if we would have had a number or a certified rate in which we were reestablishing or establishing with this property tax proposal. It comes to, from my perspective, the city back in was it 1976, 74, when it became a city, established a property tax, a certified rate of 001,441. And it wasn't until 2019 when we did a property tax increase to reestablish that same rate of 001,441. And since 2019, that rate has eroded down. We don't have it in our packet as to what our current rate is, but I believe it's 001287 is I think what
That's correct.
what the auditor said it is right now. I'm of the position that as a city, we should establish what is our rate that we want to hold and budget around that rate year to year, rather than consider increasing the certified rate or upping the certified rate just to have more revenue to be able to afford more expenses. Now, I understand there might be unique expenses that come along they can't afford or it doesn't fit within our current budget. But I'm of the position that we need to go back and reestablish what we established back in 2019, which was 001441, and hold to that on an annual basis. I don't think we need to go higher than that.
Can I ask the logic around the 01441 number that was determined at that time there?
I don't have the history as to what established that number back in 1974, 75 when the city was established. All I know is that was the certified rate at the time the city was incorporated. And when we did the 100% property tax increase in 2019, it was to get back to that rate because the property values had increased so much over that time.
Right.
So I can't answer your question.
We talked about this last time, and I was waffling back and forth between 2 and 3. And I would agree with Wayne. I mean, I kind of wanted to hold it last year. It's been hard to watch it erode away, yet everything else is costing more. And with the current status of Parsons and the pit and the revenue we're receiving for that, the rec program and its trajectory and what would happen to the rec program if we don't do something, I would agree with Wayne that we need to reestablish the 0.001441.
I also favor option 2.
Jeremy.
I was favoring option 4 initially, with the caveat that we would have enough to budget everything that would be required. I just want to make sure we're not spending so much on the optional stuff that becomes unnecessary. I guess that's where my head is at, is are we budgeting too high because we want a lot of fun, exciting stuff? And if that's the case, is that what enough of the citizenry wants to where everyone's okay with pitching a little extra? And maybe help me digest these numbers. Like, is there a way to break this down? Like, on average, this is going to increase everybody's annual tax rate by like $5 or $20, or like, do we have any kind of estimation like that, Marion, by chance?
Well, if you look at the revenue difference proposed, and how many households do we have that we use? Is it 4,000 or
2,500 homes.
25,
That's
25.
2,500? So yeah,
Divide by 2,500?
Yeah.
Well, I was just curious, like dollar wise. Sorry, let me just.
per household, yeah.
Let me just do the math real quick.
I mean, that's $258 if that's how it's done, but it's gonna be different.
Well,
for
you're
every
too
house.
fast, jeez.
Joel,
I
what do
know
you
it's
think?
not, I know it's not. Anyway, yeah, go ahead. What are your thoughts, Joe?
What are your thoughts, Joel?
Yeah, I'm kind of the opposite way. I'm looking at 4 and 5. I do understand and I agree with everyone about holding the rate. If we hold the rate from last year, that keeps us without, we're not raising the tax rate, so we're not increasing that, but we will be taking in still an extra 36,000. And to me, and I understand all those things that are going on, but I just have a problem where the first thing we do is we say we're going to raise taxes. And number 3, that's the option that the city executives decided was going to be what we were going to base our budget on. So they had already said, no, we're not going to use the same money that we're getting. We're not even going to use the same rate that we're getting. We're going to go on and up it to 5%. And that's going to make us more money. And we're going to base our entire budget on that. I've watched another city spend the past 2 months literally tearing itself apart as they were asked to initially drop 10% out of every department's budget. They've got some changes in the city and they're not going to be having as much money coming in. Theirs is going to be on a retail side. Ours is more on a Parsons side. But they're going through the whole process. And I believe they actually got down to 7% in every single department, in which everyone had to take a hard look and just say, we're not going to have the same amount of money coming in. This I see as the opposite. And I don't understand why we did that. And I know that we agreed that we would go with the current rate. We talked about that at the retreat, but we didn't talk about going higher. I still say, let's hold the rate from last year. I do understand we need to increase it. We are keeping it at that higher rate. So it is an increase. I don't know, there's got to be a limit to where we finally say, okay, here's the budget of the city. Here's what we need to be able to do with it. And if we can't do it with it, then we need to look at the inside of what we can do first. And I know we've gone previously through exercises on that, and it just, I don't know, I'm just having a hard time with it. So right now, and probably going forward, I'll just say it, I'm option 4. I would definitely like to hold the rate at what we had it last year.
Do you want me to speak to the logic of the 5%?
Sure.
This was presented in the retreat, but it was just an estimate of a growth of the city and an estimate of increase of property valuation. So it wasn't out of malice. It just was an estimate based on history of growth and property value increase. Obviously it was incorrect, but it wasn't a way to try and slide anything or be malicious. And
It's actually 5% within the last 2 years.
so that was the logic behind that number. And we did discuss that at the retreat. It was quick, but I just wanted to put that out there.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very
No,
much.
I think that was good, Maria.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Blair, can you give me your thoughts on holding the rate up or moving the rate to 1441 and then holding it at 1441 moving forward? Like, what are your?
Well, because, I mean, I was in favor of holding it before when we were 14. That one, since we established the rate.
Yeah.
It just hasn't happened.
Okay, so you want to get back to where you originally put it?
Where we originally put it. I mean, I get it. Do I want to change our rate? No,
politically, personally.
Yeah.
Neighbors not wanting to speak to you when we had raised 100%. And then we're just letting it erode more away.
I think that's where we got ourselves into trouble because we did,
Where you continue
we
to
need,
get
and that's what I've said,
some-
we need to hold that rate year after year. We need to hold that rate and we haven't, we've slipped. And
Do you, so if I'm understanding the general consensus on that rate is that we feel like that's the right number that we need that can sustain the city for a significant amount of time at least with,
And Wayne's point, I don't want to cut you off. Just-
yeah,
It would be really nice if we even knew that number.
Yeah.
I mean, if we truly knew that, because we don't know the back of 1974. We just know that for 40 years, they let it erode away, and never taken more advantage of the inflation of homes and everything else. They just, property taxes just kept staying the same dollar.
Well, the city was growing so much that the revenue was increasing because of the growth of the city.
Yeah, just
not the property.
it did get
Yeah.
an increase because of the number of residents, the number of homes, but not, based on your percentage decreased every year of what you're taking. So, I mean, I get where Joel's coming from. I totally 100% truly do. That's, I'm not pointing any fingers or anything. I'm just saying, I wanted to hold this rate a long time ago. I've been pushing for it every retreat and everything. So that's where, like I said, I was going back and forth. If we go down to 4, option 4, which is 001330, we'll be doing just what Joel said. It's going to be a hard look because we're already basically the shortfall now of pulling money from general fund now to cover our current budgets. Drop it down another $20,000 you're taking. I mean, you're going to cut, which you've already cut. We already told the fire department no last week or last 2 weeks ago, whatever it was. And cut there. Not when you say a frills or whatever, maybe that's what I would consider maybe, but it's really not. It's still a life safety thing.
Mhm.
And so I don't think there's anything fluff in our budget currently. Consider property taxes are roughly, if we go to option 2, they're 1.2 million of a $12 million budget. So where's the rest? That you're living on it's an interesting concept of how we do it.
I appreciate the additional insight.
if we go back to when we began our budget, we do it every year, but this year we knew we were going to be short. We went to all of our department heads and everyone, and we says, look, we're on a tight budget. We need you to cut where you can. And I think that they have, and they've presented a budget that I think looks pretty lean to me. And so I'm good with what budget we have had proposed to us. I think number 3, if to hold to our current budget, that's our tentative budget, we need to at least go with number 3. If we go with 4 or 5, we're at a shortfall. We're not where we need to be. So I think, my thoughts would be 3, possibly 2, but I think we probably need to get back to 2. And if we can't get back to 2 this year, then we should get back to 2 by next year. That's my thoughts.
Point of clarification, whatever rate that we decide on tonight and we have in our public hearing in August, that's the max that we can change our certified rate to. We can do anything less than that. So if we wanted to say tonight, we're going to do a 0005 or 005, and then we do the truth and taxation here, and we come back and say, well, we're going to do a 00144. It's less than that. You can't go above whatever we agree to tonight, but you can go less based upon public comment at that public hearing.
It's a max and it's the number that will get published. That's basically if I
That's correct.
understand that correctly.
Yep, we just need to
So-
decide on a max that we're actually going through truth and taxation and what the most you're considering is.
Okay.
So if you pick any option 1 through 4, it's truth and taxation. 5 is just accepting that proposed.
Okay.
Not to add too much more behind this, but to give the council something more to consider.
Yeah.
What's happened in our economy since 2019 when it comes to medical expenses, retirement expenses, income expenses, groceries, gas. The city's expenses have gone up considerably more than 3% or 5%. So please consider that we're not being, I think the budgets are very frugal, they're very tight, but we've had increased costs since 2019 to merit an increase in revenue to support those costs.
I would also like to add to that, not to stir the pot, but based on June 11th discussion with the side-by-side with the fire department, that was coming out of capital projects, which capital is funded by sales tax, impact fees, not property tax. So, correct.
So the only problem that I have with all the statements that we've got such a tight budget and everybody has been reducing on it is that we're basing the current tentative budget on $57,000 more than last year. I don't consider that reducing anybody's costs or anybody's budget.
It's only 20,000 more plus.
Difference, revenue
It's-
difference of the proposed.
It's the difference between 3 and 4.
Yeah. Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's still that increase of 20,000. And that's not reducing, that's nobody, and yes, it is tough out there and interest rates have gone up and everything is really hurt and inflation is going out of control. Thank you. We'll finish that. But
And wouldn't that be the reason that it's 20 more is because of what you just said?
yes, but it's 20 more for everybody else out there too. And they don't have the power of the state to be able to come in and just say, well, we've raised your tax, you have to pay it. And that's why I guess to me, I would be more willing to see us go up if there had been, a concentrated effort to lower the spending. Because I do think that we do have some places that could improve on, but even if not, having each department head come through and give a full reporting of what they could and couldn't cut. I don't know, we either have to cut what we do here or all of the residents have to cut out of their check what we do here. So and I know, and I agree, yes, we do really need to be up at that higher rate, and things are struggling. But I think there's places that we could still cut, sorry. But that's it.
Okay, I think enough discussion. Let's look for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 2416 proposed certified property tax rate at option 4, 3.3%.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second? Seeing no second, motion fails. Okay. Someone like to make another proposal?
May I make a motion to approve resolution 2416 with the proposed certified property tax rate of 0.01441, which is shown as option 2 on our packet.
I'll second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Begin with a roll call vote from Councilman Halverson.
Aye.
Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, 4-1, motion carries.
Can I make a comment?
Sure.
Not to get on a soapbox. At one time, we had several residents in here saying, hey, tell us what, if we don't have any more businesses come into this city, tell us what my property taxes are gonna have to be. And if they have to be up 300%, tell me they gotta be up 300% right now. When you see that is our budget's at 12 million or whatever. I know we get a lot of revenue from other areas, sales tax and a lot of different things. But if we don't, as a city, start figuring out how to get more revenue from businesses and with getting the primary sales tax on those businesses and allowing something to possibly, and I'm going to say this out loud and on the record, go up that hill, I think we're going to do a detriment to the city, and you will start to see that you have to, this would be a minor property tax adjustment compared to what we will have to do. Because this doesn't, we're on the wrong trajectory with our budget. I agree with you, Joel, versus our income. And so this is a long-term thing we need to consider. Because it's no fun to keep doing this over and over all the time.
No. And I agree. I wish that we had stayed at that level. I really do. I remember when that happened and the number of 100% being thrown around so much. And I honestly felt very sorry for everybody that was up here. And I am surprised that it had been continuing to drop back to what it was before.
I just wanted to say one other comment. When we did that raise in 2019, a large portion of that was for snowplows service. We had to take that, utilize those funds for snowplows because we were taking it from the general fund at that point.
Yeah.
So it was basic services.
And we had paramedic, and there's been a lot of things,
Yeah.
but you're right.
Okay. Next item, resolution 2417, consolidated fee schedule amendments. Any discussion on this resolution?
Yeah, Mayor, if I jump in, it's not what's basically some of the changes that staff are proposing, but it's on the first page of the fee schedule or page 13 of the board packet. Do we really make CDs if people ask for information? Can't we change number 7, audio recordings, number 13, information or forms on CD? We have it written down lower that it's based upon a time feed is based upon time for processing for reading number 15. I mean, people want it, they're either going to want it on a stick drive or they're going to email it to them, right? So like, if we're going to update this, is there a reason why we're not changing that? Or do we really print CDs?
No, we don't print CDs. What? Yeah, it was missed, so if we want to make that
Well,
change.
we don't need to make a change right now. I think the change ought to be made.
Sure.
You know, I don't think we're going to be doing CDs. We should do time and materials, something like that. But anyway, that was my only comment.
Well, we could do it right now.
Well, if you want to change it, I would
Okay.
recommend what we put down for number 15. Fee is based on time processing formatting of the record before delivery as described in number 14, and 14's first 15 minutes is free. Additional time will be billed at $15 an hour. It's just assembling the information and send them an email. Like, I think that's just a service of what we do. If somebody wants a form, just email to them. You know, no big deal. We don't need to charge them $15 just to send them an email.
Is that to cover grandma request?
The grandma request is something different. That's more voluminous and takes more time. We're just asking for audio recording.
But this is
But
how we're
that's-
basing those grandma requests.
Yeah, the fee for the
And there
grandma
is someone that
request.
Okay,
keeps
got it.
asking for CDs.
Do we have a CD
I don't even know
writer
that we have
anymore?
one, do we?
Can't even burn them.
So let's just change, let's just, in the motion, let's just make the comment to change 13 to similar to 14 or 15. I don't care which, but
7 and 13.
713 and then under number 17.
mhm.
Oh,
Angie's got that worked out on her perspective.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I'll let Angie make that.
Okay.
Thank you, Barry. That's all I had.
Does anybody else have anything else to talk about while I'm writing that?
I think that's the only change.
Okay, do we want to offer a flash drive? Or just have it say electronic copy?
I think just.
Electronic copy.
Yeah, electronic copy.
Okay. Mayor, I make a motion to approve resolution 24-17, consolidated fee schedule amendments with the following additional amendment. For chapter 1, section 7, audio recordings would be a digital copy. Replace CD with flash drive? I don't know how.
No,
we
you're
do
gonna
this, or
just do-
strike it.
To basically strike $5 per CD and add in for the first 15 minutes, free additional time will be billed. Or do you want? Can I pause this second?
Yeah,
Lisa?
pause my
'Cause
motion.
you get these. Do we just charge them $15 an hour to do those? Is that simpler? Nobody asked for, not CDs, I'm talking electronic copies of any of that. So just put,
I think that's already in the fee schedule on a separate line,
so just put time material.
and it has first 15 minutes free and then everything after that 15 an hour. Yeah, or if you want to put at cost of materials, I think that's okay.
Okay.
Can we just say they're available for free in electronic format on city's website? Because all of our audio recordings are posted on the city's website. So I'd make it like number 6.
Mayor, I want to change my motion.
Okay.
I want to make a motion to approve resolution 24-17 and consolidated fee schedule amendments with the following amendments for chapter 1, section 7, audio recordings to read as the items above, available for free in electronic format on city's website, and allow, excuse me, and have that number 13 read the same. Nope, scratch 13. I think we need to scratch 13 altogether. And then, sorry, Michelle.
I'll just let you make the change.
Okay. After section 17, strike where it says a CD may be provided for $5 per CD.
Okay, that's your motion?
That's my motion with
second.
everything else said.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll begin with a roll call vote.
Wayne.
Wayne. Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Next item, resolution 24-18, emergency dispatch with Davis County Sheriff. Any discussion on this resolution?
Quick understanding might go a long way.
So I believe Layton City's not quite ready to come on. We've got to go with Davis County for what, another till August 31st? Is that what it is?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Go
Derek.
ahead, Derek. Yeah, you know more about
All
that.
right, so we've been working with Layton. Eventually, the county's going to go to 2 dispatch centers, Bountiful Dispatch and Layton Dispatch. Layton has the ability to take us on now because we don't have a huge call volume like some of the other cities. And so we just waited, and then we didn't get Layton's contract till the middle of June. And we have to give Davis County 30 days notice. So tonight, the ask is to approve both contracts. And then basically tomorrow, I'll send a notice of intent to cancel the Davis County contract effective July 31st at midnight.
So Davis County
Okay.
just for 30 days.
And then Davis County is going to take over the Layton. You said there's going to be one down south and one up here?
Yeah,
So-
Davis Dispatch will go away. So everyone will
Okay,
have
they'll go
to
with
choose
completely.
either Bountiful Dispatch or Layton Dispatch
I
to
see.
contract with.
Okay, thank you.
Okay,
Mayor, I move to approve resolution 24-18, emergency dispatch with Davis County Sheriff.
Second,
okay, we'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilman Halverson.
Aye.
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 Okay, it's unanimous. Motion carries. Thank you. Our next one, Resolution 2419, Emergency Dispatch with Layton Cities.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution 2419, emergency dispatch with Layton City.
Second.
A motion and a second. Roll call vote from Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 That's unanimous also. Motion carries. Thank you. Resolution 2420, firefighters retirement compensation or contribution, sorry. Any discussion on this resolution?
Is this similar to our discussion last time?
It
I
is.
think so.
Basically the same thing.
The difference is the legislation allowed us to contribute more to the firefighters retirement system, but not the tier 2 employee. So we have this option before us.
And does this only apply to our full-time employees?
Full-time
Correct.
full-time firefighters.
Of which there are how
Which
many?
have one.
Yeah.
Wayne, I asked for your opinion on this because you deal with it all the time anyway. So do you have the same opinion as you did before?
Ooh.
Okay, that's what I'm asking.
Yes and no. It is a slippery slope. But that being said, this is going to the firefighters who we value very much. Not because we just have the one, but because of the service in which they provide. The slippery slope aspect of it is the URS funding contributions. It's requiring more for the employers to contribute for the employee for their retirement. That's just up and down the board. That's why they had the tier 2 for their regular employees. But the service that's being provided by our first responders, not just fire, but police and so forth, I think it's worthy for the consideration, and I would support this resolution.
Okay, thank you.
Quick question. Do we know what the 2.73% equates to?
Yes, it's a difference of $2,400 a year. $2,427.10 to be exact.
That if we didn't support, that would be taken out of the employee's paycheck and to support his own retirement contribution.
And does the city also offer like 401k and reimbursement for that or equal?
Yes, we're already doing the match for him, for firefighters that qualify. Yes.
Any other discussion?
Mayor, make a motion to approve resolution 24-20 firefighter retirement contribution of 4.73% for fiscal year 25.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and with a roll call vote, Councilman Howerson.
Aye.
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 Okay. Unanimous. Thank you. Ordinance 2024-08, enacting compensation increase for specific city officers. Comments on this ordinance?
And everybody understands that the reason this is because the legislature said we had to publish it for these directors' positions, correct? It's not something new. I mean, we've always had it public information, but it's just needed to be voted on, I guess.
Well, I do think that it should be public information. I don't think we should.
It's always public
Yeah.
information.
Always
You can
public,
look it up every employee. It's always public
Oh, yeah.
information.
They've got that state thing, but I don't see any reason not to. So, and looking at the percent increases, I don't know if I agree with all of them. So I'm really the bad guy tonight. Can I get somebody to can I get somebody to escort me out of the building tonight? first of all, I'm not sure on all of these, but I believe, for example, for the city manager position that we just finished a package for him and hopefully to keep him here for the next 5 years. I don't know about the other directors. I believe that we've capped some of these, and they shouldn't be continually getting increases if they're capped. And I do know specifically on the recreation director that this is something that I have personally seen and can attest to and will attest to in front of everyone here, that this is somebody who has gone above and beyond, not just the normal. If every director did this same kind of level of dedication and really trying to move in and change things, I wouldn't have a problem with any of them on the merit side. I definitely think that our rec director has earned that, but that is just my opinion. But
Wait, did you say he does or does not?
he does,
He does.
Okay,
definitely.
Thank you. Agreed.
So those are my thoughts.
I don't understand. I don't have the details on what happened with the city manager before with his package or whatever, but when I saw the 2%, I thought that was a little low. So I didn't know if there was something else driving that.
So and the mayor can speak to this, and I'm hopefully not speaking out of
No,
turn.
I was,
We agreed on a 2% merit or 2% cost of living increase.
Oh, okay.
in his
And
con-
then was it 2 or 3%
well, in
for,
his contract, it says that he would be eligible
for the cost of
for
living
the cost of
increase? So we established the 2% cost of living this year. The other was merit.
Right,
So he automatically gets the cost of living increase in his contract
Got it.
because we agreed with that.
because we agreed to that. Yes.
And that's automatic? I didn't remember that.
Well,
It
whatever-
says it would include.
It
Okay.
says it would include a cost of living increase, so
Okay.
when we.
So it wasn't a may, it was a
Yeah,
shall.
So when we agreed to the 2% across the board, well, that was. yeah,
And I think there's been some discussion whether I agree with this personally or not, or however we want to go. Public Works, there was discussion of. We talked about capped out in that position.
Yeah.
Cost of living increases was a discussion item, but no merit. So that's what was budgeted.
Okay. And can we talk about the fire chief? But anyway, so this does include the merit in it,
Yes.
correct?
5% for
Yes.
the chief.
Yep. So
Okay.
2% cost of living.
I think this all
Anything
still
above that.
comes down from Dave
Mhm.
as the budget goes.
Yeah.
This is
Yeah.
the maximum approved.
Yeah,
So Dave can still, or whoever the department heads are, however that's gonna come down from the mayor and Dave, this is the maximum that can be given. Correct?
Over
So this
the
isn't-
2%.
Over the 2%.
Over the 2%. Okay.
so this is just the max. We're not saying that,
Well, it's all still left to the Dave and the department heads after that to do based on how they see fit. Unless I'm incorrect in that.
No, that's right, but this will, I mean, just to be transparent, this will probably stay. This will be what they get. As far as I know, but it goes into effect July 1, so.
More discussion? Are we ready to make a motion?
I just think that our rec director is underpaid, for the record.
Are you saying we need to reevaluate the cost basis for that position?
Not right this second, but yeah. It's just hard for me to see someone who's had such loyalty to the city for over, how long has he been here? Over a decade. And we have a new position that's almost twice his wage. That's really hard to swallow for me. But anywho, Mayor, I make a motion
Okay.
to approve ordinance 2024-08, enacting compensation increase for specific city officers.
Okay, we have a motion.
Second.
Second, Councilman Davis, we'll begin with a roll call vote by Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
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 Okay, motion carries. Unanimous, thank you. Next item, statement of willingness to lease city property. Talking about the city property on the S turn of the road. Any discussion on that? We've kind of discussed that before. A little bit anymore.
Like the idea, do we know how much we got?
It's, oh, it would be, you mean money wise to get?
For the lease, yeah.
It's opening it up to authorize
Negotiation.
Oh, okay.
negotiations.
Oh, okay. I thought it was actually we had gotten at least, so. In that case, I definitely, Mayor, I would like to make a resolution or make I would like to move to approve resolution, well, just the statement of willingness. So, hey, I don't have to approve anything. Do I?
Just accept.
offers.
Okay. I say that we move to approve offers.
Can I ask point of clarification?
Yeah.
Do you want them to come back before city council?
I don't think that's what it said in it, did it?
Well, if you look at page 84 on the background,
Mhm.
second paragraph, it gives us options, like how we proceed. So if we're willing to accept offers, then we can say a time period. If we want them to come back for council to approve that, that's what Blair's saying.
Oh, I see.
The way I understand
Yeah, I
it,
think so.
the way I understand it is, this is the procedure. If we're willing to lease the city property, these 4 steps is what we're saying that need to be
Right.
followed.
But we have to say what time frame we want or
Yeah. So if that's Joel's motion, I'll second it.
for how long.
Yeah,
Clarification, what time frame? Not how long will you second that for?
I think it's open. I don't know
Just
if there's
leave
a
it
time
open?
frame. It's just, we're willing to lease and or
Okay.
consider the lease options on it.
Agreed.
It's-
yeah, I apologize for reading it wrong, but I honestly thought that that's what it was meaning, was that we were going to start leasing that property, not just for a short time, but anybody who wanted to lease it for, because that was the whole idea of being able to allow any citizen, not just one person who was
Sure.
coming in wanting to do it.
Right.
So,
That's what I think we're doing.
okay.
Okay,
Yes.
so we have motion second, all in favor, say aye.
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 Wayne seconded. And I, sorry.
That motion carries. Okay, next item. Public Works Facility Project Cost. Blair, we'll start with you.
Start with me. So for those of you who haven't been with us for this whole process, I just wanted to give you a little bit of background. We hired an architect firm, I don't even know how many years ago.
2018.
But back when Wayne was on the council, it started, and that's when we started finding a piece of ground. And then we hired an architect firm to come in and do some design analysis and what our needs were, who helped us put together the information for an RFP. At that time, they gave us a budget to try to get a proposal put together for doing a plan and spec project. That budget was approximately $15 million. Just our fee alone on that job, or for that proposal, would be in around a 1.2 million for the architect's fee. At that time, we decided to step back a bit and go the design build route, put the RFP out ourselves, which we did. Valley Design was the successful bidder on that. And as the record shows, you can see at the time, 4.3 was their bid. During those discussions, and we've had this back and forth, just so everybody knows all the discussions in those committees. The owner of Valley Design did say, everything was not firm in that number. We asked how much we should budget over. He gave us a number. We actually added to that number and budgeted to 5.3 because that's where we felt like we could get the project done at. So that's the money that was put in the bond for the buildings, the 3 buildings. Currently, the cost of those 3 buildings is at 5.249805. So we are just barely under budget of what we actually put in the budget for the bonds. Then on top of that, we budgeted $2 million for site work, which we are now currently at 1.8 for site work. So kudos to Brandon for budgeting, getting underneath that. We do have some other line items that we have added to the project. One of those are security for $88,000. One of them is the wash bay equipment. None of us quite understood what a wash bay was. I mean, and what that would entail. It's not just a little pressure washer. This is it's an actual wash bay. Take care of the solid under the trucks, everything else. So that's another $80,000. When you do that math and you put all of that together, we're at that price that you get in your packet of $7,263,862, which is under our roughly when you add those numbers together, right, slightly under budget for those costs. Even with the added 2 items.
Are these hard numbers now to where?
This is now a hard item.
Nice.
That we will be putting under contract with Valley Design, which that number also, which still wasn't even included in all that 15 million that we started at. Architect fees, all of design fees, all of that is in Valley Design's numbers.
So what's the total complete, everything put together?
Right there, $7,263,862.
And that's the total cost for
the entire
completed.
thing. The benefit of what we negotiated and Valley Design has brought to us is they are managing all of the site work, utilities, everything under their umbrella for that same cost without charging the management fees on top of all that, so that it's one cohesive project, which I think will eliminate some of the change orders. I'm not saying there isn't going to be any change orders, and that's a discussion after we get to this route. We still need some contingency. We still have office furniture to buy, a few other things. That's why our bond is we still have a bond that's higher than this amount. We have some contingency in there, as you can see in your packet. But I actually think when you compare, and we've discussed with other cities, what they're getting, I mean, there's a lot of public works buildings and municipal buildings being built right now. I think this is a very good outcome. Whether that's up to you guys to agree with it. I agree. So
on the final page, VDC, where it's got the project A and B and final, we have a total of 6 million, and then vertical costs are 5 million, and then site costs are 443.
last page.
I
Yeah.
believe he's referring to the addendum that we
Right,
received
to the
about that.
addendum, yeah. I'm just wondering how that equals out then as 7.
Well, the better summary is on page 2.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
you're welcome,
Yeah.
Austin.
Yeah, let Austin come. He's
He
sat
can
here for an
clarify.
hour.
This is his document. Austin works for Valley Design.
So
You need to state your name
I'm Austin Nichols. I'm with Valley Design.
and what city do you live in?
I live in Morgan.
Okay.
Thank you.
But very loyal to the South Weaver City. So we started this process, kind of backstory, way back in July of 2023, right? That's when we gave you the original budget of $4.3 million. From there, unfortunately, we had price increases for cost of living as things were explained earlier, cost of goods. There were a few a little bit to the design that was added, that also added to our proposal. The mezzanine is now for heavy load for the public works facility to include their storage equipment up there. And the concrete was never structurally designed from our concrete suppliers. So with that comes the extra money on why our proposal went from 4.3 to 4.9 essentially for those vertical cuts. So this last page that you're referring to is called schedule of values. That schedule of values for the 6.138 actually is the total for all three buildings to go vertical. That is from footings, foundation up. The vertical cost, or I apologize, the 5.6 is for the vertical cost. The $443,000 for the site cost, that is your everything included in your site, concrete, footing, foundation, and then that totals the 6.138, which is actually what we are.
Yeah, and that 443 is the stuff that's in the dirt under the buildings.
Yeah.
Correct.
Not the site work,
Correct.
but just the foundation, footings,
Site work
that
is
kind
a
of stuff.
completely different line.
I only know basic math, so I always
No, I
get it
just
from top
wanted to-
down, so
I just wanted to clarify.
I see what
that.
it's saying now.
He's from the south, so we
Yeah.
have to give him a little
They
bit
didn't
of
teach us
grace.
math
Yeah.
or English.
But no, if there's any other questions, I'm happy to explain, walk through this packet and
And-
help people understand.
And they've been very willing to go back. I mean, if you take like our landscape number, the first landscape numbers we were getting were $240,000. That's gone way down to $87,000, which is, I mean, there's new stuff. That's not just like coming and doing our yard, but there's a lot more, it's the irrigation and everything. So there have been several of these numbers that we've decreased in the last 2 weeks.
For sure. Yeah.
So we definitely started at a higher number than this. About $1 million higher.
Yeah. Well, I'll be the first one to say it, that I greatly, enthusiastically appreciate you guys doing all of the extra work to bring this down to as low as y'all feel that you could, and still get the building the way it is. I appreciate that. I mean, there's no hiding the choke that I had when I heard 16 million. So to be down half that is a huge accomplishment. I appreciate it. And that's for you guys too, obviously, since you're the one billing us.
And there was a lot of effort through everybody involved in the project. It was definitely more than my team, everybody else. So
I bet.
we're appreciative as well.
You're all welcome.
Sure. Once again.
Serious. I am very grateful.
And that's what I wanted to echo as well. I appreciate Blair and Angie for all the effort that they put into this. And Valley Design for theirs. A lot of work has gone into this and we've gone back and forth on it. I feel really good about this number. When I first looked at it, I had second thoughts, but after really diving into it, realizing what we've got a good number here, real good number. When we look at what some of these buildings have gone for recently, and we're underneath that cost, I think we should, and we're getting more, we really are. This is a good cost, good price. Blair's done a great job.
He has, Blair's
Yeah.
done great. I didn't do anything. I would also like to note when Blair mentioned the equipment that's included in there, so that's obviously funds that we don't have to take out of the rest of our furnishings budget, so we still have cost savings there. So feel pretty good about it. I'm excited.
Yeah. Okay, any other questions, guys? Okay, then we'll,
Mayor, I move to authorize the Public Works building cost stages A and B with design changes to Valley Design and Construction for $7,263,862.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. We'll do a roll call vote, starting with Councilwoman Windsor.
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye. Really quickly, can we talk about how the council would like to handle change orders and that moving forward so that it doesn't come back? Because that's, as they sign the contract and this gets moving forward, and as the committee needs to know how to handle those change orders. We've had projects in the past where it was,
Want to send it an amount?
Like,
yeah, set an
the-
amount. I mean, and so, and I can throw out a proposal there. Wayne and I talked a little bit about this. If it's okay with the council, I mean, normally you would set aside a 5% contingency. I mean, sometimes it's 15%. I don't think we need to do 15% on something like this at this point, because it's pretty inclusive. But it may go up to, 2, 3, 4, 5%. There's going to be change orders. There's unforeseen things. It's going to happen. But Dave is currently authorized, I believe, to go to $10,000. I would make the recommendations that a recommendation that he can approve change orders up to $10,000. The committee can approve up to $50,000. And that we cap that at a $200,000 limit. It's all still coming out of the same bond proceeds. It's still under the original amount we budgeted for the project, especially when you pull out the stuff that was coming out of different budgets. If we start to go above that amount, then it needs to come back. I think you will also need to get a monthly recap from the city manager, the municipal utilities committee, of any changes that are being presented so that you're aware of them, but that it doesn't have to delay it, because most of these will be time sensitive. If they have to wait for a city council to approve it, it delays the whole project. And if it delays it, 2 weeks of Austin's cruise time is worth more than that whole change order. And so I don't want it to delay that process. And if you have to pay general conditions just to wait for a city council meeting, then it's either that we approve something similar to that, or we have to agree to have special meetings within 3 days.
My opinion is, I'm okay with the city manager approving up to 10,000. I'm actually okay with the committee approving whatever, so long as it's within the total budget. So I don't want to micromanage every decision or anything. I don't think that's necessary. I think it comes down to, do I trust you and Angie? I do. So if you guys are comfortable with that kind of decision-making without looping in the rest of the council, then I'm okay with that. So long as you're.
I'm not comfortable taking it over 50,000. I think the council needs to be brought in. That's a significant amount. I don't, Austin will probably throw something. I just can't imagine there's something over that kind of number unless we hit something major. And then if we have to, we call a special meeting. It's just what we would need to do.
And typically through the design process, right? That's why you have a design process, so you can minimize change orders. So really the only thing would be unforeseen circumstances that potentially could add to that, but myself and my team have been a part of this project for over a year, and
And that's why we went down the design build route, because they own the design too now. They paid for it. And so it's not going to be some astronomical thing, but it will. I just don't want it to be, hey, this was the dollar. Why are you coming back to me talking about it? Or, hey, why did you approve $20,000 over here? I want that to be out up front so that everybody's aware of it. And if everybody's okay, I don't even think it needs to be a motion or an action. It just, as long as everybody's comfortable with that, that's probably the way Dave would proceed. So unless Jamie thinks we need a motion.
I think the motion would help you.
Okay.
I do have reservations on the $100,000 or $200,000 cap. The fact is, that's what the city council is really responsible for. We legislate and we budget, and the money is always on it. It has nothing to do with the trust of you guys or anything like that. I'm more than willing to go with the Dave having 10,000, the committee having 50,000, because I think that if it's anything over 50,000, we would probably need a quick emergency meeting, and I can't see there being so many of those that are over the 50,000 that we'd have to be having them every week. So
I just want to put a cap, like if it's 100,000, 200, because say Dave does 3 of them at 30 and we do one at 50 or at 80. I mean, where do you want that cap of total before it has to come back and start?
Oh, that's what I was meaning by the 50.
Okay.
Yeah.
I guess too low.
Go ahead.
I'm stepping a little bit out of my lane, but I spent most of my career on big projects. And you would be wise to approve a cumulative amount because your mobilization costs for a project like this, if they can't make those approvals quicker, it'll cost you more money than what the approval is. I would recommend what Blair has proposed, which is an amount that the city manager can do, an amount the committee can do, and then a cumulative amount, at which point they all would come back to the council and get your blessing to go above that cap. But you may have, 2 or 3 different decision points where they're going to need to make quick decisions. And unless you authorize that threshold amount, they won't be able to do it.
Thank you.
I agree with that.
Yeah, but a good example is when we were doing the park expansion for Canyon Meadows, that we had approval authority for change orders, and it made it a lot smoother. Otherwise, we would have paid more. So any of the cost savings we'd realize by itemizing everything this way would kind of go out the window.
You guys see the potential, and I know that there's always issues, the potential of hitting 200,000 a couple of times.
No, once it hits
Once it
200,
hits
it comes straight back every
Right,
time.
then it comes to.
That's
the
a
city council.
cumulative cap, period. 200,000. We can't approve it. I can't approve, the municipal utilities committee can't approve anything over 50. And if we did 54 times, we could never do it again. It'd come right back to the council. But every single change order after that, unless you approved an additional amount.
Well, I definitely don't know anything about constructing $7 million buildings.
Well, you will by the time we're done.
Doesn't sound like it. But, okay.
Austin will even give you a hard hat. And a vest. Just wear your steel-toed shoes.
Okay. So,
Mayor, I'll make a motion to authorize the city manager to authorize funds up to 10,000 and the committee to authorize funds up to 50,000 to a cumulative of 200,000 as Blair had recommended
For that project.
for that project. Yes. Thank you.
Second.
all in favor, say aye.
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 Thanks. Appreciate it. Sorry for delaying.
No, that was good. We need to do that. Okay, we have one discussion item. Unified fleet management option. Marin, would you like to?
Thank you, Austin.
Yeah, thanks, Austin.
Sure. So Unified Fleet is a vendor that approached Dave and I at the city manager for the conference we were at in April. And they finally came and presented to us just their fleet solution that they have. Like the staff report says, they offer low cost lease on vehicles for the first 3 years and then a balloon payment over years 4 and 5 to pay off the lease, with the idea that at year 3, you would sell the vehicle, it would still have high value, it would pay off the lease. So it's kind of a way to save money on your yearly lease cost. The question for council is, do you want staff to keep researching this option, maybe get other companies that do similar things? Do we go down the path with United Fleet, or are we happy with how we're handling our leases and our fleet right now?
Any future agreement with them would only impact vehicles turning over in the future, correct?
I believe so, yes.
I'm willing to explore this option because it gives you especially for someone our size,
Yeah,
you don't have a fleet manager,
yeah,
that it would be very helpful if we had someone that actually did it on a daily basis. But it all comes down to cost. I mean, it's
right,
obviously, and
yeah,
how it is. I mean, we've kind of learned, we took a bath on this to start with. But we really haven't seen how our program works, and maybe they can show us the difference in what's going on. And I don't know if that gets turned over to just a group to discuss it and figure out and come
Okay.
back with a recommendation. I'm okay either way, but I think it's worth exploring. But maybe I'm off base.
I agree.
I agree.
I agree.
Okay, would you just want to move forward with United Fleet or other companies as well? Or just a better presentation from United Fleet to understand the cost there? Does anyone have a preference?
Well, I would always entertain other bids and companies of people
Great.
that are doing it. And I think that usually we can get a better cost sometimes with that, but these guys are quite a bit bigger than our city and what our needs are. So, yeah, I'd just be interested to see. I don't know if it has to go through a full RFP or anything like that, more than
Okay.
just meeting down with them and talking with them.
Okay.
But that's my opinion.
And Blair did mention committee level, like, do we want to present it to admin finance first or bring it to council?
I would say admin finance.
Start there. Okay. That's the one that seemed like it fit. but-
Yeah.
Great.
I'm with Blair though. I'd like to see like the comparison. I think that would be very intriguing.
Between what we're doing currently?
Yeah.
Okay. Great.
Thank you, Marin. Okay, look for a motion to suspend council and move into our LBA meeting.
So moved.
All in favor, say aye.
I'll second it and say aye. Just helping
You just gotta be a little faster.
Sorry, okay.
Okay, we have a motion in a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. We're now convened into our LBA meeting. Today is Tuesday, June the 25th, 2024. Couple of items that we need to approve. We need to approve our consent agenda of May 14th minutes. Need a motion on that?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next item is our LBA resolution 24-02 fiscal year 2025 financial budget. Any discussion on this?
I just had a question for Marin.
Okay.
The budget you have in there is interest earnings at 250,000. Is that on par with what you're currently making?
Yeah, it's a little under. We're doing
It-
about
As long as it's
40.
under, I just
Yeah,
didn't
it's
know if it
under.
was. Okay.
Because it was an assumption that we're spending the money, so it'd be
Okay.
less.
That's the only question I had.
Anyone else? Look for a motion.
Only question I have is I'm not listed on the resolution for the roll call vote.
Well, we didn't think you'd be here, Wayne. You're tougher than we thought.
I knew you'd be here. Don't listen to him.
Mayor, Chairman, I move to approve LBA Resolution 2402 fiscal year 25 final budget. That's the one.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call vote. Councilman Windsor.
Aye.
Or
Aye.
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 The motion carries. Look for a motion to move back into city council.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Hey, we're back. That's it. We're looking for any new business. Any new business? Shaylee, what's going on? We got a concert coming up.
Hello. So our next concert in the park is going to be this Thursday. It's a returning band from last year. It's Dixon Hayes. There's going to be 2 food trucks. Daughter versus Dad again is returning after last month's success, and Pizza Cone Zone is also coming. So come to that, and then we have 2 more after that. We're still looking for kids to sign up for the Kid Entrepreneur Market we have going on for our July concert. You can sign up through Sportsides. There's a way to get there from our website. So if you know of anyone that's interested in selling anything, like, send them our way. We'd love it. And that's all I got.
Great, thanks.
Quick question, concert in the park. bring chairs or towels, or are we gonna have the standards up?
No.
No, so bring chairs, bring blankets, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Our one last month was very successful. We had about 200 people there.
Nice.
So
Yeah,
that was
great.
that was awesome. So we're looking forward to this Thursday and hopefully we get a good turnout there too. So
Great. Lance, anything from staff? Nothing from staff. Okay, let's move into our council committee reports then.
I have new business, but you jumped right
Okay.
over to Shaylee. Okay. So did that come out sassy? I didn't mean to, and I apologize.
That's
Not more than
twice.
normal.
Oh, okay. Well, the first time I meant it. I guess. Okay. So I just had a quick question for everybody because apparently when I was gone, there was changes and you guys nixed the side by side for the fire department. Is this correct? Okay. I don't like that.
Should have showed up.
Should have showed up.
Sorry.
You better campaign for the higher
So-
rate.
You heard what happened?
What did I hear? I didn't hear what happened. This is what I'm hearing has happened.
Chief Tolman, would you like to tell her what happened? Yeah, tell her about what the good news is on the side by side.
Okay, what's the good news?
No good news on the side by side unless you're giving me good news.
I thought you received a grant.
For the side by side?
No, the grant was a
For
mental
mental
health
health.
grant.
Was for what?
Mental health, for
Mental
first
health.
responders.
Yeah,
Oh,
which is awesome, which pays for the side by side.
I was gonna say
okay, finish your story.
My story is I'd still love for that to be considered. So it was already in our tentative budget that we had approved. So I would love to see that put back in. I feel like it would be really beneficial to our community, actually.
I agree with that.
I still disagree. We spent a lot on a new engine or Quint coming in, and we're going to increase the budget to be able to handle that. And while at the same time, we have other areas that are not being funded by Parsons right now, and so we're having to make a few cuts.
So I totally see your point on that. Here's what sold me on the side by side. I kept thinking back to a situation where if we had something on the hillside or something at the river, and we had service, the firefighters that were there, that were able to get to somebody but didn't have the means to reach them because they didn't have the correct vehicle, that would be so detrimental not only to the residents of our city, but to these firefighters. I can only imagine if I was in that position and they couldn't get to somebody timely because they didn't have a vehicle either to get to them or transport them, that could stick with somebody for a long time. So for me, it seems like $64,000 is an investment worth that. And we do have the topography that justifies it. If we were in the middle of the plains and there was nothing there, it might be kind of nice, but I feel like where we do have river that goes all along our city and then the mountains all along the other side, I do feel like it's totally justifiable.
Well said.
Thank you.
Do we have a hard quote on that?
Yeah.
Is it the 64?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just didn't know if that was hard or just a budget. Okay.
So I know that I'm, opening up a discussion you guys had a couple weeks ago, but I thought it'd be better to have it now than next time we talk about the budget. So that's how I feel.
Yeah, no, we all went
Do we want
through.
to discuss it now or do we want to discuss it when?
I was gonna say, I think with it, where we've had the discussion and now we have a member who, of the council that wants to bring it back up. I think the place for that probably is right at the next meeting when we go through the whole budget and either
Okay.
approve or disapprove.
I'm fine with that.
When do we do that?
So you can't act on it today. You would have to do it as a budget amendment, notice it, hear it, you go through that process. What you could do today is a motion to reconsider, and then that would direct the mayor as the chair to include it on the agenda and begin that process.
Motion to reconsider The budget? How
Or
do I-
just a motion to put it on the agenda and begin that process.
Motion.
Same
Okay.
function.
Side by side on the.
Okay.
Is it in the approved tentative?
We're,
Oh, then
it was approved in the tentative. We took it out, but we haven't had our final, have we?
Yeah.
No.
I saying, it can be still added to the final
you
in
can still
August.
add it then. Yeah, you would.
So it can, but it can still be in a discussion item or an action item on the agenda. But, and
Sure.
it can be in the
And
final
then the
budget.
Approval would be with the final
Yeah.
budget. Yeah, thank you. Mayor.
Motion, put it back on the agenda.
Okay, Mayor, make a motion that we reconsider the side-by-side for the fire department and put it on the agenda for discussion, whether that be its own item or with the budget. It's up to me. Or not up to me. It's fine with me.
Up to staff. Seconded. I second.
Motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thanks, everyone.
Anyone else have any new business that they would like to bring up? Okay, then let's.
I don't know if it falls under new business. But we've had some issues with UDOT and their weed maintenance, destruction. They're not doing it. They're not weed whacking. Especially over there on the 89 on and off ramp. We had some complaints. I talked to Dave about it a couple of weeks ago, and we actually sent some of our own crew out there to cut the weeds down so that we could see everybody getting off the off ramp there. We also have a huge mess and everything again around the park and ride. So I just wanted to, since Dave's on vacation, I don't know who to bring it up to other than I think that's one thing that we need to either send our crew out there or send UDOT a nasty gram that says, hey, we really need this. It's getting bad. So.
When you say mess, you mean the weeds around?
Yeah,
parking lot?
the weeds, and there's some trash because of the weeds, because it catches inside there, but
Who's responsible for dumping that garbage can up there, that dumpster?
I
Do you
believe
know?
Wasatch and Agree does it.
For the, is the city responsible for that?
Yeah, we pay for it, yeah.
We pay for that, because it's always chock full. I've noticed.
We can reach out and see how often, I think, we can check how often they do it, but I know I've seen invoices for that park and ride can.
yeah,
Or dumpster or whatever.
Public dumpster. Is that what-
probably,
Probably, but it's always full.
yeah.
So just increase the frequency it's dumped.
Probably should.
Okay.
Or drop another one over there, whichever one's more economical.
So,
And the UDOT portion is the one on the other side of the fence. So I think we still take care of everything on the inside. But that was the only thing I wanted to bring up.
while we're talking about UDOT, an item was brought up in our COG meeting that on these overpasses, any overpass, it's now a state law that they can't put campaign signs up on the chain link fence over the overpasses. And several of the mayors says, yeah, we've been taking those down, and I've noticed that we've got quite a few signs up on the north side because that's the only place they can, and wonder if we shouldn't be, for safety purposes, contacting UDOT and saying, enforce that ordinance or law or whatever it is to remove those signs. I noticed coming after they said that, from Farmington all the way up, the only place that they're on an overpass is here. So look at that. Okay. Committee, Blair, you've done your job today. Let's start with Angie.
I was not able to attend our meeting yesterday for the event, so I'll let Jeremy report on that, although Shaylee gave a good summation of what we have this week.
Yeah, I was gonna say
that's fine.
Shaylee did a great job. There was further discussion, and we're throwing around some ideas to gain interest on some things. One being taking advantage of the parade to market a lot of the activities. And so she's going to explore some of those options to see if that could make sense. So just a lot of ideas. I don't know. Did you want to add anything else, Shaylee? I didn't officially take notes, but I think you covered everything pretty well.
Shady, speaking on the parade, have you done anything on candy, ordering candy yet? Okay, this came out of our meeting as well. They all discussed on where's the best place to purchase candy. And the biggest majority of them go to Smith and Edwards. Says that they found that, yeah, they've gone out there and not bought it off their shelf, but talked with them about getting parade candy, and they work them a deal, and they say that's where they found the best place to go.
Definitely not Amazon.
So we might,
I know for like the Halloween fashion, you usually get it.
Yeah.
But I can look at some.
Look at Smith and Edwards. Yeah, there was quite a few of them that says, yeah, that's where we gone. So, okay. Joel, you're on.
We had code committee today, worked on some changes for one of the zones that we've been discussing here in city council, and looking at ways that we can better make this zone fit the residential areas and to provide a little bit more buffering between anything we do, whether it be commercial, industrial, and any of the residential areas, and looking for places throughout South Weber that this is going to apply to. So as we get into the discussion further on about the general plan, we will have recommendations on what to do and the zoning that needs to be updated for it. That was it. Haven't met with Parks or Rec since the last report, so that should be later on this week. It was the flex zone that we talked about up here. And we're looking at it and what's called a neighborhood commercial zone.
Anything else?
Nothing else for me. Thank you.
Wayne?
No, nothing to report.
Okay. Comment for you, Michael, on your public comments on recycling, real quick. So with the recycling program that's coming out, when it comes out, they will do a lot of education on showing what can be recycled and what can't. But cardboard can, paper plates can, tin cans, metal, plastic, all of that will go into the blue recycling can. They can recycle all of that. So, but they will come out, when that comes out, they will have, they're gonna place stickers on those blue cans. It'll tell you exactly what goes in and what does not. So, but all of that can be recycled, and the recycling net up there now, all the cardboard now, or not all of it, but a lot of it is being recycled up there, along with the, pop cans and everything else. So it will be very informative when it does come out, but it will be coming out. The cities have until July of 2025 to roll this program out. So within a year's time is, we've got a year to put this all together. So a lot more information will be coming out on this. And then just one last item, Marin, I guess this is it for you, huh? Are we gonna see you tomorrow, or you?
Yeah, so I'll be here tomorrow and Thursday, but it is my last council meeting, so I just
Wow,
Good
wanted
luck.
to give you guys a
we really appreciate all that you've done for South Weber City.
thank
been a
you.
Pleasure having you work here. We're disappointed to see you leaving, but we understand fully and wish you the best. Thank you so much for all you've done.
Thank you so
Of course.
much.
Yep.
It's been a pleasure to work with you guys, and
Go ahead and say it. You'll miss us too.
I'll miss you too.
You can always come back after you go there and find out it's not as fun. So,
Okay,
okay.
thanks.
Okay, we'll look for a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor, say, do we have a second?
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.